We are here with Theresa McEndree of Blackhawk Networks, and we are covering the intersection between fintech and retail. So Theresa, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much for finding time in this busy show.
It is a busy show.
Yes.
It is a big show, keeps getting big every year. As you come here to this NRF big show for the millionth time,
yes,
what is top of mind for you?
Top of mind for us, we're really excited about where payments are going digital. It's one of the big things that Blackhawk and obviously this show is focused on. We've heard a lot of great things about how retailers are building out their own mobile payments ecosystems, right? We've seen the success of Starbucks and Walmart, and we're really looking at how other companies and other payment platforms are doing that globally and how Blackhawk can help facilitate that in retail across our partners.
So on that, do you see what you offer and what you're building as alternatives to the Starbucks or Walmart mobile experience, or as something that might be embedded in that? How do you see yourself stacking alongside or as an alternative to some of the more popular ones which have actually worked?
So I love that question. So Blackhawk actually has its roots in gift cards. We're really well known for gift cards in retail.
Right.
Plastic cards, we all know them and love them. According to the NRF, still the most popular gift in the US for the 13th year running. But what we've seen is a huge spike in e-gifts.
Right.
And one of the really exciting things that we've seen with innovative brands like Starbucks is actually using that e-gift as the lever for building their wallet infrastructure and their payment ecosystem. So if you look at what Starbucks has done, they've taken their e-gift, put it into wallet, built all of these wonderful tools and use cases around it, loyalty, ordering, all of that, but it's built on the back of the gift card.
Right.
So if you think about where a company like that has taken it, and how we can use gift cards as the core stored value or prepaid infrastructure to help all of these companies go digital, that's what we get super excited about, and that's where we believe the industry as well as Blackhawk is evolving.
And how is Blackhawk evolving? I'm always curious when I look at a company like Blackhawk, and I don't think there's many like you.
Yeah.
But if I look at the roots of Blackhawk, and if I look at how you disrupted the space at the time, with just two keywords, JHook and prepaid.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And that made Blackhawk. As you look at the next 10, 20 years as compared to the previous 10, 20 years, is there a big shift that you see with Blackhawk in the industry today?
We see that shift going to digital prepaid. So if you look at the history and how Blackhawk evolved, we started by taking a very disaggregated concept, gift cards. Back in the day, we always like to say if you wanted a Nordstrom gift card, you had to go to Nordstrom.
Right.
And now you can go to a single retail location and you can buy hundreds, if not thousands, of your favorite brands.
Right.
So if you look at the disaggregation, the proliferation with digital wallets, whether you're talking about a Venmo, an Alipay, a WeChat, or wallets like Walmart, Starbucks, or even loyalty apps, people want the ability to load and use those in store.
Right.
So we're working with our retail partners to actually aggregate that disaggregated ecosystem. So bring the digital wallets together to one point of sale, just like we did gift cards over the last 20 years.
Right. And you mentioned some brands there, the super apps, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned WeChat and Alipay, and obviously those guys have done things their way, the super app way. Is that a path that you see either for Blackhawk or some of the US efforts to also take? Is that a model that you think will work in the US?
I think we're inching towards it. So if you look at WeChat and Alipay, obviously they have the inborn infrastructure and user adoption in countries in Asia.
Right.
And then you have emerging markets like Brazil and Mexico that are heavy cash utilization, but they still love their digital wallets and their apps. You have the US, which we're lagging because of infrastructure. We tried really hard to get near-field communications to work. And what we see from a global landscape, which is great at a show like the NRF, is bringing that all together. I think in the US, what we're going to see emerge first is the first merchant wallets, right? Again, Walmart, Starbucks. We've seen Amazon really trying to build in some in-store online interoperability. So we see that as a big vector for the retailers themselves. But we also see more convenience being built into the apps like a Venmo and using them in retail.
Speaking of Venmo, right? Obviously there are certain apps that are used by younger folks. There are certain apps that are still for Facebook people, old people like me.
Why are you looking at me like that? Facebook. No, I'm just kidding.
And so here's my question, right? Are you seeing a fundamental difference in the way in which young folks, Gen Z, millennials are using your products versus older people using products? Is there a big difference?
That's interesting. So we've done a lot of research as far as generational cohorts, and our research that we did last year showed something that surprised me, and I'm not easily surprised. Gen Z, 42% of Gen Z uses cash, right?
Okay. Wow.
So it's their life stage, also some of the generational impact. Their parents are the generation that's heavily saddled with student debt here in the US, right? So they're a little credit shy. They're also at the life stage where they don't have access, and they like cash. But they are gaming, they're streaming.
Yeah.
So how do you connect their cash propensity to their digital usage? So it's interesting when you look at generations, we see Gen Z as potentially a big adopter of kind of barcode payments in store, heavy self-use of gift cards. So if you look at our core business, Gen Z, heavy self-use for budgetary purposes, also to gain access to digital wallets, right? So you go and buy a gift card, you can now load your Netflix account. And then as you get older and you kind of progress through your life stages, millennials, we see a good use of self-use and gifting. And then when you start to get into Gen X and boomers, gift cards really take more of the shape of traditional gifting, right? You're the parent giving out gift cards to your kids and all that kind of wonderful stuff, so yeah.
Fascinating. Now the questions get harder.
I'm out. No, just kidding.
So how does it feel now that you've been doing this now for so many years as a company? You are one of the original disruptors of the space. Are you still a disruptor, or are you getting disrupted?
I think it's interesting. The payments landscape is always being disrupted, right? If you look at markets like Brazil, you have neobanks that have come on strong with a force. We talked about Alipay and WeChat that have completely changed the way that payments are done. I would be wrong if I said we weren't being disrupted or this entire space wasn't constantly being disrupted, but we're also disrupting, right? So we're constantly working with our partners on how we can evolve beyond the physical introduction of e-gifts over the last decade, and now we're really looking at connecting mobile wallets and traditional retail. So we're looking to continuously disrupt within the prepaid ecosystem.
So are there any areas beyond core payments, as you look at the intersection between retail and fintech?
Yes.
Are there areas outside of payments that are also something that the company is thinking about, that you are spending time on as you're looking to disrupt going forward?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's outside of payments, but I would say it's outside of what we traditionally think of as payments partners.
Okay.
So of course, when we think about connecting digital wallets to retail, we talk about PayPal and Venmo, we talk about Alipay and WeChat. But there's also a ton of stored value in things like loyalty programs, right? In the US alone, there's $50 billion of loyalty dollars that are captured. And we've seen initial success with companies like Chase linking to Amazon so you can check out and pay with your Chase points or Amex points or whatever. But how do we bring that to retail? And there's such a proliferation of deal-seeking apps. We have partners like Ibotta and Ebates. How do you take those earnings and use them in store? So we don't typically look too far outside of payments, but they're kind of everywhere. If you look at the different brands.
That's a great use case, because I don't want to subscribe to a magazine I don't need with the points of an airline that I don't fly on, just because I want to use those 2,000 miles. I want to use something, I want to do something useful with them. Hopefully we can see more of that.
Yeah, and from Blackhawk has a strong foot in incentives and loyalty programs. So just from an incentives methodology and theory, if you get somebody to burn their points for a cup of coffee, they're going to keep earning, right? You're going to become the preferred loyalty provider, and people kind of have a limited attention span when it comes to the number of points programs and things that they participate in. So we think it's really exciting from a consumer perspective as well as a loyalty provider.
So we have covered a lot of ground, and obviously Blackhawk is one of the preeminent names in payments innovation. So thank you for being here. I just want to ask you one last question before I let you go. With everything going on in the industry, and having seen this for a while, if there were one thing that people should take away about Blackhawk Networks from NRF 2020, what would that be?
So looking at 2020, I really think it's about the evolution to mobile and digital, and continuing that strong trajectory. but we're really focused on omni-channel, right? What we've learned through our customers, consumers, all of our research is that it's not just digital, it's not just mobile, it's not just in-store, whether you're talking about the consumer experience, which we hear a lot about at shows like that, it's really about payments too. We see this interoperability or this liquid, seamless nature with cash, credit, debit, and wallets, and consumers want to use what they want, when they want to, and it's not up for us to choose, it's up for us to facilitate. So we're really focused on making sure that our retail partners and our brand partners are able to offer that.
That's great. So on that note, seamless liquid payments, omni-channel.
Buzzword.
Buzzword. I think that's a great place to stop. So Theresa, thank you so much.
Thank
I appreciate
you so much.
you taking
This
the
was
time.
great. Thank you.
This is ADITYA KHURJEKAR from MEDICI Studio.